Hello, everyone. We can see that people are connecting and entering the webinar with us today. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Rima, and I'm from SILA. I've been in Canada for 11 years. And today I really want to welcome you and thank Rita for making this session possible. So quite a few of you registered today for this webinar, and we're happy to have you all. Of course, it's recorded, so you know you're going to get a link of this webinar today. So first, I will take a few moments to talk about the Zoom etiquette and logistics of the webinar. So this session is recorded. Your cameras will be off and microphones muted during the presentation part. When we get to the Q&A at the end of the presentation, you can ask your questions, and we can allow you to open the mic so that you can ask your question live, or it will be in the chat. So it's up to you. You can chat your questions and you can write your question in the chat box throughout the session. So there's no problem. You don't have to wait till the end. And some questions are going to be answered throughout the presentation. So if your question is not answered, make sure to ask it again at the end. Of course, stay tuned. We always organize webinars and workshops related to other topics with regards to Canada, immigration, integration. So you will hear more on from us. And lastly, we are going to share with you a feedback form at the end of the session. So your opinion matters if you can fill it out and let us know what you thought of the webinar today. So to start, I want to tell you about SILA. So Rita, if you can just change the slide. Thank you. So SILA stands for Support and Integration for Lebanese Abroad, Soutien et Intégration pour les Libanais à l'étranger. We are registered and based in Montreal to help Lebanese who have the project to come to Canada. It all started after the 4th of August explosion. So we are a group of volunteers. We wanted to do something to help. So we launched SILA officially on the 4th of August, 2021. So our services are to offer support in immigration, integration, and intercultural exchange and growth. So we help you throughout all of your paths. From the moment you decide that you are planning to immigrate to Canada, when you arrive, and of course, after you have been here a while and you want to make friends and you want to meet people. So we also organize events for that. You can follow us on our Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn page, and you can contact us via the form on our website. If you're a resident, you can also fill out the membership form. And if you want to stay in touch or if you want to volunteer, you can also fill out the form for volunteering and stay in touch by contacting us on the email. So Joelle is going to post all the links so you can check them out and follow us. Today we have with us Rita Kamel from DossierPro. Rita is a master certified career and employment strategist. She's a member of Career Professionals of Canada, an award-winning certified resume and interview strategist, and a certified work-life strategist. So she has a lot of experience, and we're hoping that you're going to benefit from what she's going to offer you today. We have already done a webinar with Rita about how to prepare for an interview. And today we're going to tackle the job search. So Rita,
thank you.
You can take it from here.
Thank you, Rima. Thank you, Joelle. Thank you, SILA, for having me. Hi, I'm Rita. So in a quick overview, I come from 15 years of experience in recruitment. I'm Lebanese. I started DossierPro in 2020, and I help professionals at management level and above lead their career moves. I'm a member and a volunteer of the Career Professionals of Canada Association, and the experience of relocation, been there, done that, and I landed in Edmonton, Alberta in May 2022. So it's still fresh. And je suis trilingue, donc I speak English, French, and Arabic. So this is a quick note about me. I've worked with people from almost every continent, and a lot of Lebanese looking to relocate to different countries. So most of my clients, you can see a bit in 2 years, I'm still in awe of what was able to be done working with people from all around the world. I'd like to start with setting the stage. So we were going to talk about how to look for a job in Canada. There is a starting point that we need to think about and talk about. It also starts with searching, with research, and how you're going to take action with your personal branding. You can ask questions, share your experience, share any useful resources, links in the chat. Let's make this interactive and fun. I will also add a disclaimer. You need to know that this presentation will not cover all aspects of the topic because of the time constraints. We barely have an hour, and I can spend, 4 hours talking about this topic. And I cannot expand on the resume writing or interview preparation during the session. The session is focused solely on looking for a job in Canada. And the resources I'm going to share are not province specific. They are for all Canada. If you are looking for specific resources that are related to your province, you will have to do that research because Canada is so big. It's not only Quebec and Ontario. We have so many other provinces as well. So, is there any other?
Here, that because everything related to a job search is also connected to work permit, everything related to that aspect, we will not be tackled here today because we don't have an immigration consultant with us. So if you are asking about how to do a sponsorship or something like that, we won't be able to answer that. However, we might organize a webinar dedicated to that topic. So stay tuned. We'll see if we can do that in the near future. Thank you.
Yes, and for all information about me, my work, etc., you can check DossierPro.co. I will share the link. There is a link also in the presentation at the end. Okay, so I'd like to start here with a question and ask you if you're looking for a job from Canada, or if you're looking for a job from Lebanon, or if you're looking for a job from another country. So take a few seconds to answer this question so we can have an idea of who has joined us today and what your job search, where does your job search start from, actually? Okay, so 40% are looking for a job from Canada, 46% are looking for a job from Lebanon, and 14% are looking for a job from a different country. Thank you so much for your answers. Okay. So let's talk from what I call case zero, okay, the starting point. I will start with some statistics. And these statistics are taken from the Immigration Canada website. You need to know that Canada believes that it is stronger due to immigration. Immigrants have been essential to Canada's post-pandemic economic recovery. In 2021, يعني في كتير أشخاص transitioned from temporary to permanent residence. Okay, so صار في حتى بالفيز فرصة يكون في transition. في كتير أشخاص عم تجي، مع إنه في كتير أشخاص عم تجي، في كتير unfulfilled position, almost 900,000 unfilled position remained across all sectors. And الحلو إنه the plan is to bring in almost every year. عم نحكي تقريباً 500,000 شخص رح يجوا على كندا كل سنة. Okay, it's a huge number. So if you are planning for immigration, and if you're asking yourself if it's worth it or not, please note that Canada is looking for people, and it's looking for a lot of people. So the plan also, because sometimes there is, okay, we're bringing people, بس الأرضية كمان مش على طول مجهزة. You will notice that sometimes the locals here are not connected with what's happening with the immigration. They also are spreading the benefits of immigration to many companies here locally. And so they are trying to do on both sides, and that, you know, educating employers also about the importance of these immigrants coming. So for me, as a person who is in the career field, I understand, and I have to highlight that we do not start from the same spot. Looking for a job from Canada is not like looking for a job from Lebanon or looking for a job from another country. Okay, so there are a few things that I would like to invite you to sit and think about. To start with the visa, I'm not going to dwell on this one, but because I don't have the legal background, but obviously, if you already have the visa, it's one thing. If you need one, it's a complete other ballgame. And so you also need to understand there are many different kinds of visas, and some will allow you to work a few hours full-time, and some will not allow you to work. There are visas where you can come and maybe transfer to something else. Some people come maybe with a visit visa, tourism. They start looking for a job, they find something, and they get a work visa, and then بيرجعوا بيعملوها permanent. Each person's way of doing this is different because it also entails the capacity of doing so. Not everybody has the ability of doing some of the things. The location, of course, being in Canada versus being abroad plays a big role, especially for companies who require in-person interviews. So these companies will definitely, by default, want you to be already here for the interview. Other companies might have a hybrid system. Even if they do, they might want you to be somewhere, maybe in Canada or in the province where they work still. Okay, so some companies, they have restrictions and they cannot offer things beyond them, mostly for taxation reasons, also legal reasons, and their appetite for internationals. Okay, education. Studying in Canada, of course, helps. You have whatever you need to work quicker, rather than if you need an equivalency. Equivalency process may take time. It may cost money. And so it might be a lengthy process. The equivalency process also might be different from one area to another. If I am an engineer from Lebanon, I cannot come and work directly here in Canada. Okay, even if I did the quick equivalency, there is something that I need to study. There are exams I need to pass. I need to be licensed. I need to be part of an organization. إلى آخره. So I need, لازم كل واحد يدرس وضعه ويعرف هو بأي خانة من وين عم ببلش بالتفتيش عن شغل بكندا. في أشخاص already شغلة بكندا، وفي أشخاص شغلة مع شركات كندية، وفي أشخاص مش عاملين لهي ولهي. دونك كمان هيدا الأسبي بيلعب مع أو شوي بيعذب أكتر. مزبوط، في حكي عن الكنديان experience، في كتير حكي عن هذا الموضوع. However, في different ways of bypassing things, as we say. So if you worked in Canada previously, I'll say like you have an edge. It's easier to look for a job. If you worked with a Canadian company in Lebanon, for example, it's also something. I've worked with clients who worked with Canadian companies remotely. It's also something. So this is a point to consider. In terms of languages, whether you are fluent in English and or French versus not speaking the language also might play a role. Like provinces like Quebec will most likely require French, but it's not always 100%. There are some companies in Quebec who do not require you to work in French, and other companies will look for your Arabic or for any language that you also know besides English or French, because some positions also require you to speak with people from different countries. And so any language you speak is an asset, okay? In terms of culture, it's important to understand whether we are familiar with the Canadian culture or if we're not, okay? The culture here is very different from what I was raised in Lebanon. It's very different. I got to know it via the pre-arrival services that were available. So I highly recommend, if you are in process of coming here, familiarize yourself with the culture. Ask as many questions as you can and do the research. Also, one of the biggest points is network. You're coming here, you are looking for a job. My question to you, how many people already know you on a professional level? Okay, is it 0? Is it 10? Is it 20? I'll ask you that. Can you answer me in the chat? How many people already تقريباً know you on a professional level? If the answer is 0, we have work to do. And I will tell you what's the work that needs to be done. Okay, so think about each item. It can be an asset. Is it a work in progress or a setback that you need to find a way around it? Okay. So I'm seeing in the chat your answers. Yes. So with regards to the question about how you can take advantage of pre-arrival services, if you are planning to come here, it depends on the visa. When I applied for the express entry, in the envelope with the visas, with the co-PRs, there was a leaflet with a link to all the pre-arrival services. You see which one is in the province you're gonna land into, you sign up and it's free, okay? So moving forward, so that's one part. It's also important to understand who you are and what you want, okay? So who you are in terms, do you know yourself enough? Can you tell me what your strengths are? Your top 3 strengths are? Your top 5 strengths? What are your hard skills and your soft skills? Also, what are your values? شو هن القيم. It's very important because these will guide you and will be your reference point. Trust me when I tell you, you don't want any job, because any job might not fit or utilize neither your strengths or what you're good at, or click with you as a person in terms of values. It's important to know who you are so you can go where you are accepted, where you are celebrated, and where you feel fulfilled. And also you need to know what you want. What kind of work environment you're interested in? Do you like to work in a small company where you do many things? Or do you like to work in a bigger company where everything is set, this is the job description, I do from this to this. And, with big companies, you have bureaucracy. Sometimes they treat you less than a person, more as a number. And that is something we're seeing with the mass layoffs, how companies are treating people. Also, what are your next steps in terms of career? Okay, so why do we need to think about that? Because you might be working in something and you cannot do that thing the next day when you arrive in Canada. Okay, or you need, if you're a teacher, for example, you cannot directly come and teach. You have a year or two to study and get exams to be accepted and teach. Meanwhile, شو بعمل? Okay, so I need to ask myself this question to have answers, to have a plan A, plan B, plan C, to see, am I going to change my career? Am I going to do something else while I'm studying and go back to my initial work? Or am I going to hell with employment like I did and set up my own business? Okay, so you have options. You have all the options, and you will need to think things through. ما تجوا هون وتتفاجئوا تقولوا أخ يا ريت وأخ يا ريت. عطول كل ما عندكم وقت حضروا لأنه clarity كتير مهمة بالjob search. إذا عارفين وين رايحين رح توصلوا أسرع. Okay, so this is my opinion and this is my experience with the people I've worked on this.
By the way, if I can add something here.
Yes.
مش يعني إذا الواحد عباله يشتغل بالدومين تبعه وهيدي الباشن تبعه ومش قادر يعمل شيء تاني بس أخذ الجوب شعرفني بريستوران أو شيء هيك مش غلط يعني بس طالما البلان كلير إنه أنا بدي أشتغل هلأ هيك لحديت ما مدري شو يعني البلان it needs to be clear. So حتى لو ريتا قالت قبل شوي إنه it has to fit your values يمكن أو your skills يمكن ما عندكم skills بأنه تشتغلوا بريستوران أو بكافي شوب بس عم تعرفوا إنه هيدا شيء temporary لأنه عندكم a bigger plan. So بس تما نكون عم نقول إنه لا قعدوا بالبيت وما تشتغلوا شيء إنه المهم يكون عندكم plan.
Of course, of course. هيدي كمان it depends on what you are willing to put up with. يعني إذا أنا مستعدة أتحمل هيدا الشيء يصير معي تأوصل للهدف أكيد رح أعمل whatever it takes تأوصل لهدفي حتى لو إذا بدي فوت بشيء مؤقت أعمله تكون عم جمع قرشين على جنب لأقدر أدرس لأقدر أطلع هالشهادة اللي بدها تاخد يمكن سنة أو سنتين وما أوقات تاخد أكتر تقدر أقدم الفحص يمكن أول مرة أسقطه اضطر أعيده إلى آخره. سو بدي يكون كمان صبورة مع نفسي بدي كمان أرحم حالي لأنه جاي من محل ما حدا بيعرفني وكل شيء عاملينه هون غير. Okay, so certificates and certifications are two different things. Okay, just to answering a quick question in the chat. Certificates هن اشياء بتتاخد من بعد كورس من institute معين من جامعة إلى آخره بيكونوا a number of courses. Certification however بيكون from a certifying body وفي له membership بفوتوا فيه وفي له فحوصات و more often than not it's something that you need to maintain يعني مثل PMP it's a certification في منها certificate إذا بس باخد الكورس وبوقف ما قدمت الفحص بيعطوني certificate، بس إذا بقدم الفحص صار معي ونجحته بيعطوني certification I'm certified. okay so في فرق بين هول انتبهوا كتير عليهم. and how do you know which one is better to get؟ هلا بخبركم. رح نوصل له. so من بعد هيدي ال first step بدي اياكم تاخدوا دقيقة وتفكروا بينكم بين حالكم what will be your main challenge. من بعد ما خبرتكم كيف الواحد من وين بده يبلش. I will love to see your answers in the chat. What do you think will be your main challenge?
main challenge it can be إذا اللغة أو إذا منه موجود الواحد بكندا أو موجود بكندا أو إذا ما عنده بده يعدل شهاداته أو ما عنده Canadian experience هلا حدا حتى.
Yes. Okay, so I'm seeing the answers coming. Some will have, yes, so في شوي من كل شيء. في أشخاص will challenge will be to pass the exam. أشخاص for them will be to get a better position, a better salary, knowing what's the next step for them, the education system, not having a previous experience in Canada, not being in Canada, not having the networking, yes. Where to start, to endure the process relocation, yes, Petra. Yes, the career shifts, finding a job where I fit, yes. All these are challenges and they are valid. These are things بدهم ينقعد with the challenge ونفكفكوا. Okay, so any challenge, when you have a big elephant in the room, the way you eat it, it's one bite at a time. You can منفكفك المشكلة into smaller things that you can do to get your answers and to get an action plan. So how do we do this? The search starts with research. Okay, what do I mean by that? So you need to have a plan. You need to have clarity on who you are and what you want. Okay, so when you have that, صار عنا reference points. صار فينا to steer towards this direction. بيصير when you know what you want, who you are, etc., you can start working on creating the career documents that conform with Canadian standards. Okay? عم بحكي عن الريزومي، عم بحكي عن الcover letter. They don't look the same the way we used to do them in Lebanon. Okay, so here they have a different way of doing things. بيركزوا على الإنجازات. Achievement. It's achievement based. It's not task based. They care less about شو بتعمل. They care more about why should I pick you? Why should, yeah, what, like why you? What do you have to offer? Why are you so special? Okay. And then it's about also you can create your online presence on LinkedIn and other social media profiles. Okay. So your presence on LinkedIn is super duper important. And I will tell you why. Because more often than not, when you send an application to somebody in Canada, the first thing they do is check your profile on LinkedIn to see what else you have. Okay. And where do you do your research? So you can use the research from different sources. بالcareer coaching, I always advise understand the economy. Okay, the Canadian economy definitely is not like the Lebanese economy. It's different. You need labor market information. Okay, this information فيكم تاخدوها من different sources like the Labor Market Information Council. Joelle will help me with the links. She will share the links. From the Job Bank, okay? Labor Statistics. شو رح يخبرونا هودي sources? They will tell you كمان في أوقات بيقسموا الأشياء per profession. If your profession is in demand in this province, okay, so you will want to go somewhere في job opportunities definitely, and it will show you trends. So هيدي الجوب من هلأ لكذا سنة is it in decline or في appetite عليها رح يكون في عليها طلب. اوكي لانه that بيساعدكم كمان بالsalary negotiation when you are talking with an employer انه انا مطلوب so you better pay me والا رح فل عند حدا تاني. And also من اهم شيء to find out if your occupation is regulated or not. Okay, so this information can be taken from the Canadian Information Center for International Credentials. What does it mean to be regulated? It means when my job is regulated, I cannot do the job in Canada if I do not do an exam, if I don't have the Canadian standard of doing things. For example, do you think I can be a hairdresser in Lebanon, come to Canada وقص شعر? I can't. Okay? ليه؟ لأنه في شيء بده يندرس وفي فحص بده يتقدم قبل ما الشخص يحق له to be a hairdresser in Canada. Okay? So هولي كلهم المعلومات موجودين على هذا الويب سايت. بتشوفوا انتو بشو بتشتغلوا. Okay? I am for example, let's say a podiatrist cannot come and work as a podiatrist دغري. But however, for example, if you are in, let's say, retail sales, you're not regulated. You can work, you used to work, for example, at Zara or Mango or these places. And then you can work here in a mall or in a clothes shop, in retail, etc. You can do that directly. You don't need, you're not regulated. Your job is not regulated. Also, you will need to scan the market to find out if you have any gaps that you need to address immediately. Okay, so what do I mean by that? If you do research on, for example, websites like LinkedIn jobs, on Indeed, or on other sites where, because every province usually عندها مراء تحط jobs على سايتات معينة أكتر من غيرهم, you will need to ask those questions. أنا مثلا رايحة let's say على مانيتوبا. بمانيتوبا وين عادة بيحطوا الجوب بوست تبعهم؟ مش الكل بيحط everywhere. اوكي وفي إذا أنا كنت مهندس أوقات بيكون في ويب سايتات خاصة بالهندسة الشركات بتحط عليها ما بتحط بغير مطارح. So I need to understand أنا to have all the chances and opportunities by my side to understand when عم بيحطوا الجوبز على أي boards, and to start reading those job posts وبلش شوف شو عم بيطلبوا على طول عم بيطلع نفس الشيء. هل عم بيطلع مثلا PMP is a requirement؟ يعني أنا عايزة PMP ما عندي إياها I have something to do. عندي إياها الحمد لله I don't have anything to worry about. So هيدا الريسيرش رح ساعدكم تعرفوا شو ناقصكم. okay إن كان certificate, إن كان certification, إن كان membership بassociation. كندا معبية association ل almost all the professions you can imagine. okay يعني حتى if you are a person who organizes, هذه اكتشفتها من يومين, organizing في ناس بتقدمها as a profession. I organize your house. You pay money, I come and I organize your house. That's a profession. They have an association. Okay, so you need to see كمان في associations they are national وفي associations that are provincial. So for example, in my case, Career Professionals of Canada is a national association for career professionals. I am part of this association. This, when you are a member of these associations, it gives you a legitimacy, it gives you credibility, and it also helps you always be up to date with what's happening in the latest in your profession. لأنه usually بيعملوا webinars, بيعملوا networking activities, etc. هذا الشيء بيطمن الامبلوير إنه أنتوا up to date على شو عم بيصير in your profession. And also check a website like Glassdoor for salary scales and employee reviews. Okay, some places are really toxic, while other places are fun places to work at. You would want to know إذا أنا رايحة لأنه I need to manage my expectations. I don't want to be surprised. I don't want to feel like I've been stabbed in the back. I need to know where I'm going to. Okay, so هذا المطرح, is it safe? Is it a good place? What do people who work there say about that place? وحتى لو كان toxic وأنا يعني عم بروح en connaissance de cause غير ما أروح وأتفاجأ. Okay, so الواحد بس يكون عنده علم وخبر بكل شيء عم بيصير بالشركة X، بعرف إنه معيشتهم من X ل Y، غير ما أروح وأتفاجأ. So مع كل هالمعلومات you can now decide on the path you want to take, taking into consideration أهم شيء your resources, including شو يعني your time, money and interest. بعرف إنه money is very tight. نعرف إنه most of the time بدنا نلاقي شغل مبارح ومنوقع بفخ إنه حيلا شيء. It's not the best way to go، لأنه اللي عم بيصير واللي عم شوفه إنه عم بيجوا الناس عم بينفقسوا عم بيضطروا يرجعوا. أوكي، ليه؟ لأنه بيكونوا خلصوا المصريات، خلص الوقت وخلص بطل في بقى شيء جوا يقولون try again أو صابر أو be persistent. So now with this bit of information, I'd like to ask you again, what do you think now is your main challenge? I would love to see your answers in the chat. Now that you have a bit more of information, what do you think is going to be your main challenge?
أعطي أنا example أنا كان التشالنج تبعي إنه أعمل بروفايل لينكد إن. كانت كتير صعب علي أتقبل فكرة إنه العالم كله رح يشوف my past experience. حسيت it's very personal. ليش بدي أعمل بروفايل لينكد إن؟ So مثلا هالشغلة حسيتها تشالنج لإلي.
Yes, definitely. For me, the challenge was deciding where to go, which province to pick. لأنه الأسعار كانت نار والرنت كان شيء بخوف. So كان البلان شيء وبالآخر غيرت. Yes. So we're looking at the chat. Yes, definitely identifying the good employer to invest in. Definitely. This is a big challenge. Commuting. Yes. So commuting is a big topic, and that's why targeting your job search is important to limit yourself within the geographical area you are interested in. So مشان هيك الواحد كتير مهم يعرف وين بدي اشتغل بأي منطقة بأي city. Yes, finding the job. So I have a question here I will answer. I wanted to ask you from Hussam, do you think as new graduate, is it the right thing to look for a job there, or you'd recommend a master program, some years of experience in Lebanon? There are different ways to answer your question, Hussam. I'm not sure أكيد. I don't know what's شو الدومين يلي أنت عم تدرسه. However, في أشخاص تخرجت وراحت دغري، وفي أشخاص كفت شوي بعد بلبنان ورجعت راحت. Again, for me, it goes down also about, do you have the money and the resources to do the relocation or not? It's also important لأنه في كتير limitation. Working on the CV, yes. Working on the certificate, yes. So finding an entry level for an overqualified person, this is something you can address on your resume. Your resume does not have to have everything and anything. The LinkedIn profile too. Okay, so you pick what you want to say. A PhD graduate كمان إلها طريقة. It's a whole discussion. PhD going into not academia, going into the private sector. It's a whole debate that we have currently على الإنترنت. هلا كتير عم شوفه. So moving forward, I will tell you what you can do with the information that you now have and how to put it into action. Okay. There is a concept called personal branding. You as a person, you need to think about yourself as a service. Okay, so you solve a problem that the company or the employer has. So when you start thinking this way, you will start thinking of yourself as a service. Très bien. أنا بحل مشكل X. Okay, how do I market this? How do I put the message out there for employers to see that I am qualified, I am equipped, and I have the experience to solve problem 1, 2, 3. Okay, so in my practice with my clients, ما بآمن بشيء اسمه نحط كل البطيخات بسلة وحدة. Okay, لأنه I think it doesn't work. Okay, أنا عم بحكيكم شغلة مع أكتر من 200 شخص لهلا. في شيء اسمه passive approach وفي شيء اسمه active approach. بدنا نحط the marketing hat. Okay, في شيء اسمه push strategy وفي شيء اسمه pull strategy. When you talk about a passive approach, شو يعني? It means when you are applying through job boards, company websites, and recruitment agencies. Job boards, تقلكن ليش they are passive? Because you don't know the story. Do they need, is the job really, is it really open or not? Are they creating a database or not? Are they just scouting what's there to have an idea or not? Are they just putting it online, but they have picked somebody from inside already, but because by law they have to put it everywhere, it's there or not? So مش لأنه في job on a job board يعني it's up for grabs. It might not be, and it might. Company websites, كمان, sometimes they do the same thing. They put the job, but actually أخذوا حدا internal رقوه, بس مضطرين يحطوه على الويب سايت لأنه عندهم هيدا rule and law that they have to put it and post it. Recruitment agencies. Let's talk about them for a quick minute. Recruitment agencies, what they do is they are hired by companies. Okay, so they are not hired by a person. The client is a company. The company pays money, either a flat fee or a commission, حسب شو الكونترا, to find someone to fill that vacancy they have. So recruitment agencies are not agent. It's not an agent for you. They will not meet you and see what you're looking for and try to find a job for you or try to get you an interview. It's not their job. That's your responsibility. The job search is your responsibility. It's your project. Okay, so recruitment agencies, they have websites, they have companies, they take profiles, so you can go there, give your CV, but only expect a call only if they have something. Okay, if they don't have a job for you, they don't have a job for you. They cannot do more than that. Another way to look for jobs is to join مثل ما حكينا عن associations. Professional associations are very powerful in Canada. Let me tell you why. Because you get to know people موظفين بمطارح فيكم تحكوا معهم, you can network with them, and they can tell you if they have openings قبل ما تصير الopening online. Still, it is a passive approach because you're not really, you're joining. So it can be also groups on Facebook, Lebanese in Canada, Lebanese in Montreal, Lebanese in anywhere. They are very powerful. Some are very helpful. On LinkedIn, كمان في جروبات for مثلا engineers in XYZ, doctors in إلى آخره, graphic designers in wherever. So look for those using the keywords, etc. Join them لأنه usually when somebody has a job, they put the job post on there because they know إنه it's a hub for those professions. Okay, so لأنه هيدا الجروب معمولة مثلا كلها graphic designers. إذا أنا بشركة graphic design بعرف إنه الشركة عم بتوظف, I will post the job there ipso facto لأنه وكل الجرافيك ديزاينر هون. Okay, so if you join those, you are getting yourself exposed to as many opportunities as possible. Attending online or in-person job fairs. Job fairs, they are everywhere. They do them most of the time, year-round. Okay, مش إنه في شيء هون. Like a few weeks ago كان في big job fair هون بإدمونتون. You can attend online or you can attend in person, etc. So it's not a seasonal thing. Also, I think last year or a few months ago كان في a big international job fair أوقات تعملوا على صعيد البروفانس. مثلا نيو برانزويك كانوا عاملين شيء للانترناشنالز. اوكي, بدوا الناس من برات كندا بوظائف معينة. So make sure you are always on the hunt for those لأنه you will see who is hiring, you have دغري who to talk to, they are there. يعني على طبق من فضة موجودين. All you have to do is show up. Okay, and start having conversations. Also, create an online presence on LinkedIn and social media profiles. LinkedIn, definitely, okay, هذا ملعبي. LinkedIn tells the story of you as a professional. Okay, so it doesn't have the language that the CV have. It's not the formal language that it has. It's more personable. It has a story. People love LinkedIn, especially here in Canada. They read it. So you make sure it's well filled. كل شيء مزبط, الصورة, البانر, etc. يكونوا كل شيء مرتبين. ليه؟ لأنه كمان الريكروترز they use LinkedIn to find people. Okay. هلا a trick for LinkedIn إنه انتبهوا على اللوكيشن شو عم بتحطوها, لأنه إذا أنا عم فتش بكندا على شخص بده يبين اسمه, usually it's كمان بيحطوا geographical location شو هي. So mind this. If you know that you are coming, you don't have to put Lebanon anymore. You can put Canada. تقدروا تبلشوا تبينوا بالsearches يلي بتنعمل بكندا. And use LinkedIn to actively network with people. So when I asked you how many people know you already on a professional level, this is how you use LinkedIn. Okay, so when you connect with someone, you can search. It has a huge ملايين الناس on LinkedIn. Okay, ملايين recruiters are on LinkedIn. ملايين CEOs are there. Okay, so it's a spot where almost everybody professional is on. So what can you do? You can search for the companies. You can search مين عم بيشتغل بهالcompany. You can search for the recruiter. You can search for anyone. You can connect with anyone. Okay, and always يعني it's a tip. Use desktop to do that, not on your mobile, to connect and send a small message. في أول شيء 300 characters that you can introduce yourself on why you are interested to connect with the person. Okay, a quick blurb. and then people sometimes they do follow up. مش الكل رح يرد بطبيعة الحال. هون it's a numbers game, but the more you do it, the more you will land on people and the more you can have conversations. Before I came here, I was planning to go to Ontario. So this is a side story. وظبطت النتورك كله كان recruiters بأونتاريو، ناس بدوميني بأونتاريو etc. وإذ قررت إنه لا يا بنات نروح على إدمونتون. So my plan changed. مين بيعرفني بإدمونتون؟ Zero. So I used LinkedIn to have at least a dozen person who know me on a professional level. How did that help? بس جيت قلت لهم هاي أنا وصلت، صار رحنا شربنا قهوة مع بعض، صرنا نحكي بالبزنس، في أشخاص they connected me with other people and you get jobs كمان a lot this way. Okay, so it's also, it's who knows you. Let's say it this way. How many people know you on a professional level? And when you come from Lebanon, you always come with a story. You come with a story of, I've been through this, هيدا الشيء صار معنا, we lost a lot, etc. People here, and I'm scared, I lost my job, etc. بالنهاية Canada is made of a lot of immigrants as well. People connect كمان, they understand what it is. Okay, so a lot of people come here from difficult countries and they do understand that. هودي كلهم أنا for me بيجوا بخانة passive approach. هلا active approach, this is where you put effort. Okay, we don't wait for somebody to discover us. You put effort. How can you do that? You can make a list of companies and people. شو يعني؟ أنا والله بدي أروح أشتغل بكندا بديلويت. أوكي؟ عارفة حالي بديلويت. طب مين في مثل ديلويت بحبهم أنا؟ Maybe top 4. Okay? Maybe other companies. طب بركي منهم موجودين بالجيوغرافيكال لوكيشن تبعي. Okay, so في different questions I need to ask myself and have answers. بس أعرف حالي أنا ولا بدي أروح على city اسمها X. عم بحكي شو مكان. باري. Okay? بأونتاريو. شو هن الشركات يلي بالفاينانس هونيك؟ Can I find a list؟ بدي فتش. Okay? أيهن كبار؟ أيهن medium؟ أيهن صغار؟ What am I interested in? You have lists. So the more lists you have in terms of بما معناه عارفة أنا وين رايحة وشو بدي وشو هن الشركات يلي I am interested in، صار فيني لاقي الأشخاص يلي بيشتغلوا هونيك وصار فيني بلش عرف عن حالي. أوكي، يعرفوا إنه أنا أصلاً موجودة. أوكي، وعندي بشتغل بهالشغلة. I do this, I'm interested in that. So this is also بإطار creating a professional network اللي عم نحكي عنه. Creating a professional network منا بس قصة إني أتعرف على ناس وقلن هاي عم فتش على شغل. لا، عم تعرف على ناس تتعرف على شو عم بيعملوا، شو هن المشاكل يلي هن بيحلوها بهالشركة، كيف الكالتشر تبع هالشركة، شو بيحبوا بهالشركة، شو هن برأيهم استراتيجية تبع الشركة من هلأ ل5 سنين. It's not about you first. Okay, بس تخلقوا relationship, you go with an interest about the other, not yourself. بهالطريقة when you do this بيحسوا إنه منك بس جاي عم تطلب شغل، أنت عن جد جاي انترسي، أنت عن جد جاي كيوريو وكيوريوس عني كشخص. I matter too، مش بس إنه بدك يعني بدي you're using me تستفيد أنت بس. Okay, so هولي بنسميهم informational interviews and they are big in Canada. Okay, so they are appreciated. People know that you are doing them. You go, you have questions, etc. and you cultivate the relationship. مش إنه تعرفت على الشخص وخلص. Next week يمكن أبعت له لينك على شيء قريته that would be interesting. بعدين يمكن هاي كيفكن اطمن عليه، خبرني شيء personal، اطمن على هالشيء البيرسونال يلي خبرني عنه. This is how you start making friends and creating a professional network. يعني كله بيفوت ببعضه. And you need also to start creating جمل. phrases that you can use. Okay, so what's your unique value proposition? What's your elevator pitch? Okay, and also use online. For example, I'm very active on Twitter, and that's where I'm mostly online. LinkedIn قال شوي, but I have to be there. Facebook ما كتير. The other places, Instagram ما كتير. So it depends on you. يمكن if you are, let's say, I don't know, a graphic designer, somebody who's an artist, أكتر يمكن Instagram, where things work for you. So you need to display and create online content that displays your expertise. Okay? It's one thing to exist on LinkedIn, for example, and it's one thing to create content, to post, to comment on other people's content. Comment on those people's content who are working in companies you are interested in, because they will see your profile directly. They will want to click on it and visit your profile. And it فيها تكون حجة to create a conversation. Okay? So, yes, Joel.
Sorry, hi everyone. بس كان بدي أزيد كمان a small comment about when you want to create and develop your network. كمان don't underestimate the power of the academic experience that you have. يعني كل الجامعات وفي حتى بالمدارس عندهم جروبس على فيسبوك. الانسيان يعني بيعملوا دي ريونيون، بيعملوا activities. مثلا في let's say for example the LAU alumni بتورونتو specifically, so you can join these groups as well to connect مع العالم يلي that you shared في عندكم هذا الشيء الكومان معه. الجامعة، المدرسة، اوقات حتى السكوت اذا كنتوا بالكشافة وهيك في chapters بالمدن هون للسكوت تبع لبنان يعني specifically. بس كمان بدي أزيد هذا الكومنت لأنه كتير.
Yes, thank you Joel. It's very important. Yes, alumni جروبات أنتوا بتنتموا إلها. في كتير أشياء موجودة. You can tap into that potential. ولازم نوضح إنه في كتير فرق بين شيء اسمه واسطة وشيء اسمه networking. Please do not confuse both. It's completely different. واسطة يعني أنا بيقربني بحطه لو شو ما كان شاغل، مش فرقانة معي هيدي الوظيفة، بلاقيله مش لاقيله ما بتفرق معي. This is not networking. Networking عم تخدمه للشخص. Okay? You are giving, it's a service that you're giving. بالعكس, it's a win-win situation, because if you are in line with the job that they have, and the person refers you, you are one step forward من الأشخاص يلي بعتوا بس على LinkedIn، لأنه أخذ your CV حطوا قدام عيون ال HR. هود الأشخاص usually ال HR بيشوفون قبل الأشخاص يلي عم بيجوا على from anywhere else. Okay, so هذا الشخص صار في يحكي عنكم إنه أنا تعرفت على شخص شاطر and I believe إنه he fits the job. هذه منا واسطة. ليه؟ لأنه عم بيخدم الشركة، لأنه they have a problem to solve. Okay, so it's another perspective بدنا ننتبه لها، لأنه في كتير أشخاص بيقولوا لي واسطة. لا، it's not واسطة. لا بل بالعكس، في كتير شركات عندها شيء بيسموه referral program. إذا بقيتوا بعد 3 أشهر بهالشركة، هيدا الشخص يلي عملكم referral might get something, might get money، لأنه sometimes it's hard for company to find people who are skilled, who have the competencies they are looking for, and they did. So بيعطوه مكافأة. Okay, so as far as I am concerned, I believe in putting a balanced approach. Do both. ما حدا يقولكم هي بس تزبط كندا بس referral ولا كندا بس online. ما في شيء بس. بدنا نعمل balanced approach. بدنا، لأنه في أشخاص اشتغلت معهم إجوا على كندا بعد شهر أونلاين على لينكدين إجا الشغل، ما اضطرت تتعرف على حدا. في أشخاص بقيت 6 أشهر بكندا تقدم ما حدا يرد عليهم، بس تعرفت على شخص إجا الشغل. أوكي، سو ما في هي مش هي. It's a balanced approach. بدنا نعمل شوي من هي مع شوي من هي، لأنه ما بنعرف الفرصة من وين بتجي، بس بدنا نكون نحن عم نعمل اللي علينا. أوكي. So one of the ways حكينا شوي عن الاليفيتر بيتش. اوكي سو الاليفيتر بيتش شو هو؟ انه ما تكون كلمه وكبيناها وما كتير حكينا عنها.
ريتا بس سوري، بس لانه صارت 1:03 دقائق،
يلا عم
بس
نخلص.
نشوف انه كرمال العالم اللي بركي بدهم يفلوا او شيء انه if what's coming up next just to
Yes, so I'm basically wrapping up. And when it comes to the elevator pitch, it says who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for. Okay, it answers these questions. So research that. It's important to have it. Okay. Final questions for me, wrapping up. Now that you know even more information about how to look for a job in Canada, now what you think is your main challenge? And then we can go to the Q&A.
رح أعطي هون example أنا. في بعض الأشخاص كتير صعب عليهم يكتبوا لحدا ما بيعرفوه، رح يحسوا حالهم تقال. في بعض الأشخاص كتير صعب لهم يطلبوا من حدا يعرفهم على شخص، لأنه كمان بدهم يقولوا يا الله عم بطلب منه هالخدمة. وإنه الشيء اللي فهمته أنا هون بكندا إنه العالم بتحب تساعد، ولعشتها تفهمت هيدا الشيء. حتى لو you're overqualified، حتى لو you're starting from zero ما عندك experience، بيحبوا يساعدوا. so don't hesitate تطلبوا منهم. يلي ما بده يساعد ما رح يرد، بس اللي بده يساعد أو اللي you pique his interest رح يرد ورح يساعد. so don't worry about writing to people you don't know. طالما you're polite أكيد والapproach تبعكم منيحة.
Yes. Thank you so much. So this is it for me. You see, عبينا ساعة. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
So هلا بالQ&A إذا بدكم تكتبوا لنا الأسئلة تبعكم. I would like to هون بس add إنه we have done a webinar على الCV والresume. So فيكم تحضروه وتشتغلوا على هيدا الشيء تقدروا أنتم تظبطوا الريزومي تبعكم. كمان عملنا ويبينار مع ريتا عن الانترفيو، لأنه كمان هيدا الشغلة كتير بدها تحضير وكتير بدها معلومات. So basically كمان فيكم تحضروا هيدا الويبينار كله على البيجز تبعنا كرمالتا هيدا. اللي ما بيقدر يبقى معنا زيادة رح نحط هلا الفيدباك فورم إذا بدكم تعبوها، واللي عنده question we're here to answer. أكيد ريتا موجودة معنا وعطتنا her precious time. So part of the questions اللي وصلوا لنا من قبل فينا نبلش هلا بكم واحد بركي هيك to give you some ideas. So مثلا is it possible to find remote employment?
Of course it is, but there is always a but. Not all the companies can. Okay, so مشان هيك البارتي تبع اللي عم نحكي عنها كانت النتوركينج can help a lot. I worked remotely before I came to Canada, and this does not give you a visa, just so you know. This is not a visa. It's you're working remotely, but you're not a full-time considered a permanent employee. You're a contractual freelancer from another country. So that was my case. And yes, you can find some companies اللي لاحظته إذا كانت الشركة مثلا شخص لبناني عملها ممكن يكون عنده potential أكتر يوظف أشخاص لبنانية بلبنان. أوكي so بيعطي هالفرصة. وفي ويب سايتات I think كمان بيحطوا some of it. Remote employment experience with a Canadian company is Canadian experience? Yes, definitely yes. Because you are interacting with the Canadian team, you are عم تخدمي هالشركة الكندية, it is considered as Canadian experience definitely. And yes, it's not easy تكونوا بلبنان ما في كهرباء ما في انترنت أو الوقت مش ظابط بدي أشتغل بالليل. It is challenging. بس it's also أكيد rewarding إنه الواحد يقدر يشتغل مع شركات برا ما يكون في الهزات المالية يلي عندهم بلبنان، يعني ما في هيدا نص لبناني ونص دولار وإلى آخره. So yes.
We have another question من زينة عم بتقول in Quebec how much French should one speak to land a job؟ ما بعرف إذا هيدي بتاعتك فيها أو بدك أنا رد شوي.
The more you speak French, the better. Definitely, but again, it's never 100%. I've seen jobs in Quebec that do not require you to know a word in French. However, if you want to go to Quebec, navigating the Quebecois environment will be challenging if you don't know French. الخصلة هونيك يبلشوا بالفرنش، بعدين إذا بتقولي لهم يمكن sorry I only speak بيرجعوا بيقلبوا على الإنجليش if they're very French oriented.
بس I have to add here إنه في judgment على الإنجليش من الفرنش كيبكرز، لازم تعرفوا هيدا الشيء، وفي an ongoing war between English and French، وهيدا الشيء ما رح تعرفوا إلا وقت بتكونوا هون وتعيشوا، ما رح تفهموا إنه ليه ما كندا bilingual ليش فيها المشكلة. في history وقت تتعرف عليها رح تفهموا ليش في هيدا الحرب، وليش بيجربوا يحافظوا على اللغة، وليش they post jobs in French primarily، وإذا بتعرفوا إنجليزي هيدا an added bonus، بس مش بالضرورة إنه you will work in English. So حسب الأشغال وحسب مثلا كل شيء خاصه بالmunicipality بالgovernment French is the priority. Donc هيدا الشيء it's essential. في another question regarding education, is West immigration equivalency enough or do we need to study more? I have a master's of research in business administration.
In your case, West is enough. If you were a doctor, if you were an engineer, if you were a teacher, if you were anything else, it is not. If business administration, HR, you need to be part, you need to have a certain certification. Training and development عندهم certain certification. Recruiters في اشياء بس منا على طول مطلوبة. Okay? ممكن تلاقي as a recruiter, but note something. You might find that أول job is not a full-time job. It's a contractual job. Okay? بيجي بلا benefits. So a lot of it many times ببلشوا هيك، وبعدين الكونتراكتشوال بيصير permanent، يعني ببلشوا سنة contractual، بيجربوا الشخص this is the way they think it، وبيرجعوا بيثبتوا. في منا كتير يعني أنا وقت اللي جيت هون ما إجاني full time job، كله كان when I was testing the market كله كان contractual، ومع الشت كانت بتبلش من X لا Y، يعني في كمان a big margin between what's the lowest salary they can start with and what's the highest salary. It's huge.
في عنا سؤال من رنا. Any suggestion on where to make certificates that are recognized by companies? I'm not sure it's
yes, research again. بس تكوني عم let's say أنت بدك تشتغلي accountant، رح تلاقي CPA. إذا ما عندي CPA يعني مش رح لاقي بسهولة وظيفة as an accountant. Okay, so when you do the research, it will give you clues. So use that to get your answers.
So حسب شو هو kind of certificate that she needs بتنبش online وبتشوف how to get that certificate.
صحيح، لأنه this is how it works. لأنه حتى with time these evolve. يعني مثلا في فترة PMP ما كان يا لطيف ضروري هالقد، هلا صار حيلا project management يمكن بشو ما كان بده PMP. It's a requirement. قبل ما نحكي بونجور في PMP بنحكي، ما في PMP ما بنحكي.
أكيد حسب الكومبانيز بس إيه
أكيد إيه والترند، وهيدا الشيء بيخولكم تعرفوا إذا it's what do I need to do decide accordingly. When I see Giorgio asking about newcomers getting paid lower, and when we ask for salary, should we lower the numbers? Giorgio, if you're asking me, في true في مش true. It depends on the company and on the budget. وما تنسى في وضع اقتصادي على الكل هون كمان. Donc Canada is going كمان through a recession. the budget is not what it used to be, and if you need to know your numbers. Okay, so بدك انت كمان تعرف قد ايه عايز minimum تتكون انت مرتاح. Okay, you need to have a range of salary قبل ما تفوتوا على الانترفيو. هذا كمان free tip. كونوا محضرين لأنه بيسألوكم عنها how much do you expect. إذا عطاكم رقم وهذا الرقم is not enough to pay my rent، لشو؟ Will I accept it? فيني accept it if I have the means to do it حتى experience، وفيني not accept it لأنه I'm relying on this job to pay my rent. So عطول في perspectives different، ما في يعني it's never black and white.
ريتا عنا كتير أسئلة إجوا هنا حنجرب نرد عليهم على السريع. في عبدو عم يسأل is it fine to search for a job in another province where you are living to save money by living at your family's place?
Of course.
Petra عم تسأل when should I start the search for a job since waiting for the PR may take time?
ASAP. As soon as the project starts speaking in your head, ASAP. ليه؟ لأنه before you have the authorization, you need to understand what your opportunities are and start creating that network. Okay? So without that network, things are harder. مش نهارة اللي بتجوا على كندا مع PR رح تلاقوا شغل. أوقات it takes a month, it might take 6, it might take a year. وهذا الشيء فيكم تختصروه قبل، يعني فيكم تجوا يعني وقت اللي أنا حضرت قالوا لي مثلا كنت محضرة for an interview with TD Bank بأونتاريو. أوكي قالوا لي بس تجي بليز احكينا تنحضر انترفيو. بعدين اكتشفت إنه ماني رايحة أونتاريو واعتذرت، بس كنت رايحة على انترفيو. So you can do that. تحضروا الأرضية اللي بدها تستقبلكم، تعرفوا إنه مثلاً نهار الكذا ساعة كذا عندي انترفيو ب TD Bank أو ب CIBC or whatever. بس هودي بيتحضروا. يعني حكيت كتير أنا مع الأشخاص قبل networking etc. وخبرتهم عن مشروعي وقالوا لي إنه بيهمهم البروفايل تبعي و let's meet when I come. بس قررت to come. يعني كان I would have had that interview, but unfortunately I did not land in Ontario.
It's a very good point. بس to add on it, أنا وقت عملت interviews قبل ما أقرر إنه بدي أنقل على كندا، وكان مش الانترفيوز إنه هلأ حدا بده يوظفني، كنت أكتر to explore, to meet people, to understand the lay of the land. So ما تحسوا حالكم غلط إنه عم تعملوا هول الأشياء هيدول steps، لأنه هول كتير مهم to build your knowledge about the market that you are looking for a job in. في عنا سؤال من دانيا. What is better, to start with any job related to my field just to have Canadian experience, or take my time to find and pick the best job that suits my skills and capacities?
It depends on your means. Again, if you have the time, if you have the money, and this is what you want, you can do whatever you want. You can take any job to get the Canadian experience. You can do that. It's an asset. You have the luxury to wait. You can wait. ما في شيء أحسن. أنت شو بدك and what you're willing to do.
Okay, في عنا سؤال من محمد. Hello, I have just joined the session, couldn't join earlier. Will you do another session soon? Not on the same topic. عم نفكر أكتر بركي نعمل session على work permit with بركي illegal consultant. بعدين ياسمينة, if you get a minimum wage job that offers commission or a similar situation, make sure you ask for an accurate average for what the commission will look like to see إذا بيعيشك. Okay, I think it was answering. This was a tip. هلا عم بتقول. Sorry, أنا مأخرة بالهيدا.
It's okay.
Wadia, I'm not sure if you got my question or not. I lost the connection. Is international experience, European, considered as a plus?
It depends for the company. إذا الكنديان company رايحة عليها عم تفتح أسواق بيوروب, definitely it makes sense. Okay, but إذا بس بيبيعوا let's say in US and Canada, it's بطلت relevant. But the skills that you used can be used. يعني they are transferable. Okay, so what you did there, you can do here.
Absolutely. وكمان they are impressed by international experience أو European experience. مش إنه شيء بس أكيد لهم ال Canadian experience still matters a lot. بس أكيد it depends on the company that you will be working for. So in terms of the questions, we answered the maximum possible. وهلا we can wrap things up. So بالنسبة ل the coming webinars, just stay tuned. رح نكتب عنهم على الفيسبوك تبعنا. So you can always follow us and check that. Please try to fill the feedback form if you're still connected. رح نبعثها كمان بالإيميل هيك إذا ما كان عندكم وقت هلا. ورح نرجع نحط أكيد الانفورميشن تبع DossierPro تبع SILA Canada إذا you want to connect with us, if you want to follow us on our social media. We were very happy to host this session. So thank you so much for attending. Rita, the last word is for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. أنا يعني بدي أقول إنه هذا الموضوع كتير بيعني لي وكتير يعني بالنهاية it's dear to my heart إنه بالنهاية نحن كلنا بالهوا سوا، كلنا عم نقطع بنفس المشاكل والمصاعب. So feel free to connect with me on social media. My handles are على الشاشة, are on the screen, and feel free to have a conversation with me, anything. Thank you for coming, and any questions you may have, I'm always available around to answer them. Yeah, and hoping for other webinars to help as many people as possible.
Absolutely. And the last thing I would say, someone wrote that it's very overwhelming. It is. It's one of the hardest things that you will do in your life. خاصة إذا كان الواحد عنده كارير مهمة وهلأ starting over. It's very, very hard. بس مثل ما قالت ريتا, the elephant one bite at a time. وما تنسوا في عالم that will support you. يعني عندكم حلا سؤال, نحن هون بالأصحاب تبعكم, بالcontacts تبعكم, كل العالم بتحب تساعد. So واللي ما بده يساعد it's fine, بس أكيد رح تلاقوا عالم رح تساعد.
Definitely.
Okay, everyone. Bye for now. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.